Welcome back to the LCS Challengers League, everyone. I am Mazel. I'm joined by the rambunctious Mad Magical and Cubby as well, who, again, we found out is not a real bear. Sad news. We do have.
Why were you surprised about this fact?
Because that's what I was led to believe. Okay.
He is a liar and a thief.
We've had a long day. We've had a long day, guys, and it's gonna get a little bit longer.
Hairy. You know, I feel like
hairy,
this gives it away.
Yeah. You didn't put on your winter coat. For sure. But we do have a Mingo, I was going to say meta bingo card, but then I said Mingo.
A Mingo.
The meta bingo card.
It's Mingo
It's
now.
the Mingo card. Yeah, we got the Mingo card. Anyways, we have
oh, wait, Shiv. We had some Shivs.
We finally, it took 4 games. We finally got a Shiv, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that one there now. There you go. Beautifully done.
Come on, back door. Come on, back door. We're so close
to getting a couple of these bingos. All right, we're not going to see the Zeri Yumi, I'm sure. But there are a couple other ones here. Cubby, just real quick, do you have any thoughts, any things you really want to see here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the game producer for this, whoever decided the rules, but I'm gonna vote that not for this game, but for the next one, that we get to mark off Ivern as well, because he was banned in the last series.
Yes, he was banned.
No, that doesn't count. It has to be let through. It has to be let through.
You know what? Yeah. I watched the LCS Are You Smarter Than between the casters and 100 Thieves, and you can make up rules along the way. That's what I learned from that. So.
Yeah, no. We can make up rules, and I'm making up the rule now that doesn't count.
I see. Okay, well, now that we're making up rules, I'm glad everything's working out for us for sure. That is our bingo card, though, checking in there at least to see how we've got going. I'm sure we'll have some more checks off the list. But that being
raise
said,
your hand, Cubby. You got a point to make?
No, I'm just vibing.
Just raise it. Just vibe
okay.
it. Just vibe it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into our matchup here. We've got Taco versus MU. It should be a very fun one. Should be a bit bloody, I feel like. Because both teams coming to this one, they're a bit bad from behind, all right? They need early game strengths, and I think you do see that from time to time from Team Fish Taco Magical.
Yeah, you really do, and that's the thing I think I love the most about Team Fish Taco. They are scrappy, and they fight for everything. Onat and Rosethorn have been this really crazy duo where they're either the best on the Rift or they're the worst. There's no in between for them.
I laugh because sadly that's somewhat true, and I do want to praise Team Fish Taco because this is a team for me that actually has gotten a little bit better already throughout the split. I think part of that's NXI getting used to his role and being more comfortable on engaged supports where the meta is going, but also Onat and Lunacia for me in the first couple weeks were weak in their role. And yesterday, they played really well in their 2-0 over EGC. So I'm hoping that they can build off some of that momentum going up against Maryville today.
And we'll be looking at NXI a little bit more here as well because it has been an interesting transition to that bottom lane. And we also have seen a lot of supports kind of come up in a lot of showboating modes in NACL so far. A lot of moments that go the support's way. And it was really curious to me to see such a lauded jungler go to the support role and try to find an in through that avenue.
You're gonna give it to Cubby. I was
or
like,
magical if you'd like.
Take it.
It's okay. You just like talking to Cubby. I understand.
I gave you the last one. All right, you gotta be fair.
I think we have started to see NXI get a little bit more comfortable in his shoes. I do think that engaged meta helps. It's very different from Enchantresses, as oftentimes junglers, you're starting off the fights, but he's starting to get creative. Like, this is a really nice pocket of vision that him and Onat were able to find. But it was after a Dragon Steal. This pretty much ended the game yesterday. Thank God, by the way, that our supports are now playing engagers because each of these clips are from yesterday. We get to see NXI come off some pretty good moments where it was a big 2-0 that Team Fish Taco had over EG, one that was a little bit unexpected from some of us, taking down a Challengers team like that, but they deserved it.
But is it, though? Because they beat Team Liquid Challengers. They're only one of 2 teams that were able to take a game off of them. Yeah, so it should have actually been expected. And I think NXI on more of these engaged supports is one of the main reasons why they've been looking better.
On the other side, though, and speaking of looking better, I feel like Maryville have found a bit of traction in the split, and it's been really nice to see so far, Cody.
Maryville, to me, I mean, this is one of 2 teams that actually kept the roster of 5. I know that they promoted in, but again, like a collegiate team walking into Challengers League, I was like, hey, where are they actually going to rank? And we've started to see Maryville have better looks. And I think yesterday, a 1-1 split against Disguise was a big highlight for them as they have continued to build up some momentum throughout the split. And this is a team where I know that from talking with Odd Orange yesterday, he's like, hey, we're scrimming the same schedule as the Challengers League teams, and we feel like that's really upped our game, just getting better practice every day and playing 5 blocks and a 3 block every here and there for an ice scrim. Maryville, I think we've started to see some of that show on the Rift.
We have indeed. And speaking of, we'll take a look at Zyko and Magical. You have the floor here.
I have
Talk
it
about
this
it
time.
a little bit on the other side.
All right, Zyko is actually a player that I think I've been really impressed by. Even watching like CLOL, I look at this guy and he is one of those players I think it looks better on a lot of these engagers. So it is nice to see this better shift back, and I think that's why we saw him not look as good at week
This
1.
fight.
But the fist fight, this fight, but I think the fist fight style that they kind of go for is really why I like watching Zyko and how he's able to utilize a lot of the pressure to kind of set up the rest of the team. And that's why I love seeing him on those engaged supports, because you have a player like Scary Jerry, who's a very aggressive ADC, but he can get out of position. But having someone like Alistair who could be right alongside him, or the Rel, or the Rakans, those kind of champions to kind of set up Scary Jerry, are really what I think Maryville were lacking in week 1.
Well, I also have a little bit of foreshadowing to do good on, because we were talking about these teams not really liking post certain amount of time in game. Well, I put it together a little bit of Mazel GFX Productions here to show off that. And I think it displays it very well, right? You got Maryville, you got Team Soccer. Once that 30-minute mark comes around, those Elders and Barrett spawn, you don't want none of that, all right? You want to walk away. The Monstars are coming here, and they're going to take you out, all right? You gotta get something early, Magical.
You do, and that I think is going to be what happens in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1-1 split where both games are heavily one-sided for the other team. It's just, you have Team Fish Taco, they love to play for the early game, scrappy, I talked about that, that's really their style, but they live or die by those early leads, and the same can be said about Maryville, especially when you look at Odd Orange and Niles on the top side.
Yeah, I think it's super crucial. If you want to add some little points to that one, especially because I think it's super curious to see how much an advantage early they need to kind of, figure out how far they can make it into the game.
I think that Maryville specifically really indexes towards early game in the draft, whereas for Taco, I think that they just, Rosethorn loves to invade. That's always been the style that Rosethorn has really been best at. And I do not want to see him get his hands on Kindred, because that is a champ that he's been known for on the ladder, and his Kindred has been destroying NACL so far, as in the 4 games that he's had it.
Most junglers, though, in Challengers.
Let's just be real.
Brought up the win rate, but I think especially for this team, it's been really good for Rosethorn. So no Kindred for him.
Now, we are going to see if that Kindred makes it on through as we're ready to kick off our final series of the day. So let's see what happens, guys.
All right, Mazel, thank you so much once again for getting us into this game. I like the GFX that he brought there too. It's not quite the Joshi GFX Productions, but the Mazel one I think is definitely a good second place.
I always like the bonus effort that some of our, team members put in on this side as well.
Yeah, it means that I have to do less. It's great. I can be lazy. It's amazing.
Maybe not exactly. I mean, we're hoping that we can all build each other up, but hey.
Oh, is that the case?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. That's what I do.
All right. Well, hey, no lazy folks on the stream or the broadcast today. Is we're gonna have. I expect to be a rather bloody game, and I am also expecting to see, please, for the love of God, a Kindred ban against Rosethorn. This guy has earned it. He's 3-1 in the champ. For a team that only has 6 wins on the board, I think taking that away is well worth it. He's been known for this champion on the ladder. His play with it so far this split has been phenomenal. He used it to take down TLC. I would love to see Maryville remove that. Yeah, okay, thank you.
There it is.
And we're talking about it. Yeah.
I was about to say, let's be honest. The reason why I wasn't even going to talk about it, I expected that. That was a given to me. That you're on red side, you have to ban that Kindred away because you're not going to be able to take that away from him. So that one was obvious in my mind. But looking at the other bans, that Vi banned away by Taco away from Odd Orange, I think that has been the pick for Odd Orange that they have actually used really well for Maryville to generate a lot of those lanes on the top side.
We see Sejuani rising in priority across a lot of regions right now, and Rosethorn, this will be his first Sejuani game of the split, most likely, as that already sets up for aggressive combos on the top side. Lunacia loves that Jax and does like to play that Renekton, so I think that this is a nice adaptation of the patch actually coming out of Team Fish Taco. Now, Maokai is a high priority pick that has been left open for the side of Maryville, as we'll see if that ends up being a selection. I believe Odd Orange only has 1 game on the Maokai so far.
Yeah.
Doesn't exactly fit the style that we'd like to see out of Maryville, which again is a lot of early game aggression, but some of that control could be good. That said, that Ahri walked in makes it a lot less likely for Maokai now. We'll see what the pairing ends up being.
I also like the Ahri because it's essentially a fourth ban here for Maryville against Onat. Taking that away from Onat. I was thinking that you go for the Wukong is kind of what I'm thinking, but the Saya being left open, I think would have been a better shout just to make sure you deny, because you know the Wukong's more than likely not going to the other side. Not because Sejuani can't be flexed, I talked about that before, but because it's Lunacia. And Lunacia is not necessarily known for being that weak side top lane.
I would love to see, I was about to say, I think Jax is a good pickup here, knowing Lunacia and Taco, but also I really would think Azaya would be a decent pick here for Spawn. You could also go for the Aphelios, but also it kind of depends if Onat wants to drop champs or not. Oh wow, okay, actually Spawn's gonna go towards that new Varus that we have been seeing really rise in priority, as he does have 2 games on it and actually has 2 wins so far this split. So see now if Scary Jerry wants to match that, or if Maryville wants to take maybe a counter to Jax before that pool gets narrowed.
Well, I think the Varus is a good pick here too, because you don't want to go either Xayah or Aphelios into that. It struggles a lot into that. So grabbing this Kennen for Niall, something that has been banned a lot, and you already know that it is going to be the Jax, so you do have that potential to kind of poke him out, but it's also Lunacia on Jax and then Niles on Kennen. I kind of like this matchup between both of them because we've seen a lot of games for each of them on their respective champion.
Lunacia, known for Jax on the ladder, was how he originally got Hyula, and Niall's always been a Kennen player. So
that's how he got all those solo kills in spring.
Yeah, with the top side locked in, I am curious how they're going to narrow up Onat's pool, as Annie has been Onat's most played, and I would actually kind of like to see Annie just removed here.
Same here.
But things get kind of weird when you have Varus bot, because with this new AP build going Shiv, Nashers, Riftmaker is what we've seen. That is quite a bit of magic damage. And when you have no tanks on the side of Maryville, it does open up, you know, you could go an 80 mid laner.
What do you think?
You want to against Ahri.
Jace is not there. Are you thinking the Zed? The hidden tech there from Onat?
No.
You don't know about Onat Zed?
He doesn't play any AD champs, or at least he hasn't so far.
He used to play Zed way back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm talking about a while ago. So that was something that I think he talked about on an interview a while back, where he's just like, yeah, it's been a long time. It's never going to be played, especially not when you look at the other side of the rift here. But it's one of those shouts that I'm kind of saying, the AD mids. The Tristana is the one I know you're thinking of, because that has just been something that has been pretty strong, plus it helps out our meta bingo. But I don't know if I'm sold on that for Onat.
All right. Well, for Scary Jerry, speaking of being sold, I don't know what we're going to play into the Varus here. As I think for Scary Jerry, a lot of his options have actually been the Lucian, if he wants to find that combo with Psycho, and actually going to wait for 5-pick for AD, as Rel's going to be taken. With Silas banned off the table, that kind of surprises me, because I thought they were going to set up to actually give away Rel and then take something like Alistar, but Alistar gets a lot of value against this comp for Maryville. I would love the pick by NXI, because you can use it to actually knock Kennen away, which we saw Zyko even doing in a replay that he was able to perform yesterday on the Alistar, which is very good in Game 2 against Disguised.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was thinking that they'd go for the AD, say, all right, you could go for the blind Alistar, and then we have a really good pickup. But Syndra, that's what you think is going to be picked up here.
It's Syndra or Annie for Onat.
Annie's kind of what I'm thinking. The Annie not being banned, that Nautilus kind of is like, all right, the Annie's got to be the pick. That has been the Onat special outside of the Ahri, and especially up against Ahri. But they decided to flex it and go for Victor instead.
A little bit slower pick here for the side of Onat, but if you have winning sides, I do like Victor, given how strong he is later in the game, as Psycho will be scrolling through
fun with it.
a lot of options.
Ooh,
I
Samira.
will say, I think it's going to be Ezreal. You're just going to tell Scary Jerry, like, hey, you're left to your own devices to peel.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, going to be the pick. So a lot of range. Scary Jerry has played this twice. Will be his third play now on the Ezreal on the side of Maryville. I like the Taco comp a lot, actually. I think Sejuani is really strong in this draft. And you could play towards that Jax, and you combo really well with the Alistar. So I kind of want to see how Maryville is able to deal with that. Because their mid game, they have to hit that really hard.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot about that mid game here for Maryville. Utilize a lot of the power they're going to have with a lot of their engaged tools. But the problem for Maryville is if some of those fights, some of those skirmishes don't work out well, there's a lot that Taco can do to kind of throw it back in the face of Maryville, to kite back and then re-engage afterwards.
I'm just concerned. I think a lot of this is going to be kind of a mind game between Niles, Odd Orange, and Zyko about when they can blow NXI's combo. Because I want to see how patient NXI can be. This is the first time we're seeing him on the Alistar. And of course, NXI being that role swap. Let's see if his Alistar is as good as Zyko's was yesterday against Disguised. As there's a lot of opportunity for Alistar to have a big impact in this game.
But here we are. It is our last series of the day. Not of the week. We have another day of games tomorrow before Team Fish Taco up against Maryville University. Both of them tied in the standings at the moment at 6 and 8, having a good bounce back in week 2.
I think game plan here for the side of Rosethorn, he gets to dictate really where he's going to path in jungle. It makes sense for me for him to go play towards that Jax lane top, because if left in isolation, Kennen will win over time. But you can't attack Kennen, who is safer in that top side, but still when you have Jax plus Sejuani, could be deadly. But I think for Odd Orange, he's likely just be pathing away against Jax. You can't really get anything on that top side if you go up there. So I think it really is on to Rosethorn for which way he wants to go in the jungle.
Me too. I'm kind of looking at how he wants to play in at least the top side of the map early on into the game, because I feel like that's really where you want to hit bot lane.
Wow. I
would expect that Taco should get a lot of advantages just with how the Varus is currently.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm just going to kind of keep my eyes on Odd Orange more than I am Rosethorn. Rosethorn, I feel like his movements are much more predictable in this game. Well, Odd Orange, yeah, he's got a couple ways that he can really attack Taco. And bot lane, it could be one of them, set behind this immobile marksman in the Varus, but maybe counteracting the top lane play so that way Niles is in a good position and Lunacia is not getting out of control on Jax.
Good trading here from Onat, utilizing the level 1 of Victor. As Victor is, of course, that scaling control mage, but has a lot of damage in his kit early level 1, given the strength of the Q. And also, despite the call that you had on the Varus here for the side of Taco, this should be very lane dominant. Level 2 hit.
Level 2 hit, the cancel there from the crash down. XI doing a good job, but deciding to go for more of the poke on a scary Jerry. Try to keep him at least pushed back in the lane as much as possible.
No. Top side for each jungler. I am somewhat surprised that we have Odd Orange actually going bot to top.
Niles didn't want to take that counter-strike. He's going to be forced out of lane. That's going to be an early TP that is forced out of Niles, which means that Rosethorn, as expected on the top half of the map, he's going to be here. He'll notice that red buff has been taken by Odd Orange. He hasn't gone for his own. He's even looking to take away some of these Raptors, knowing there's priority. He can smite it, and he's going to actually rumble a little bit against Odd Orange. He's getting a lot of damage on him, even if you try to re-engage as Wukong. Look what's happening. They already got the wraparound. NXI is rotated into this mid lane, looking for a play underneath the turret.
I would love a dive here. Can they execute it?
Nah, Get Back's already realized it. He's already backing out of that one. They're trying to re-engage on the other side, but dodging away from the charm. Rosethorn will Arctic Assault his way on out of there.
I mean, he's going to get this top crab and the rest of his jungle. This did also enable Lunacia to get that wave in completely, and he's actually going to walk back to this lane. So a good first base for him. He's able to actually just get the boots. Not the biggest of deals, but Rosethorn off of this should be able to double crab, which is rather nice for the jungler of Team Fish Taco if he so chooses. If not, Taco, they have the option to actually shove this out and play for that bot crab themselves, as they could slow stack it and then try and contest there after Odd Orange is able to reset. So I really like the opener actually from Rosethorn. I think this is good. And now, see if Odd Orange can sneak on in.
Lunacia hasn't spotted this one out. He went for the counter-strike on Niles. Not going to get it. Has his flash available if he needs to. Kiting him out. Lunacia, well done. Holding on to the flash even with all that damage he took.
Okay, well, honestly, that's big. He still has the TP, so as long as he's able to catch that wave under turret, not the worst thing in the world. But
hey,
still,
he's got a lot of biscuits too, so he'll actually use a lot of those to keep himself perfectly safe. We're gonna ignore that. Nope, you're not gonna talk about that, Cubby.
I mean, he's just slamming the ground, you know? It's like, hey, this is what I can do to you later.
Nope, we're not talking about it. We're just ignoring it. Mid lane, look at this. Onat getting a lot of pressure on to get back. Zard's actually struggling into this Victor matchup, which kind of surprises me because it always feels like Ahri, if she lands just one charm. But Onat, what was that?
Oh, then meanwhile, topside, Sejuani's here.
Yeah, and without the flash, doesn't seem like they're just going to simply pick up a kill.
Easy peasy for Taco as while this is going on. Bot lane's fine. Varus can do well in that lane. Taco coming up big here with the lane, and props to Onat, who... this is a lane where Victor, for me, you can win this lane early. Like, Ahri needs to get 6. And Get Back just really greeting with a wave. I mean, it even gets held here. Preemptive flash from Onat, very nice. As Lunacia, okay, that E was up, so Lunacia did need to take a step back. Flash burn, Niles will hold on to his, so potential play later in the top side for Maryville. Again, revisit, but Taco find the first kill on the top side, and leads for each solo laner for Taco, who are really stepping up big this week. I was asking for more out of each of these solo laners from Taco. The first 2 weeks I saw, I was like, hey, Lunacia, Onat, maybe 2 of the weaker players at their roles that we have in Challengers League, but each of them have really stepped up so far this week. Really good to see.
Yeah. And, I think that's been the big thing, and what I was talking about before, with both these teams, how important the early game is. It feels like both teams, this is the moment that they make or break the game. It's secured for Rosethorn. They try to peel back, looking for Onat, but a 4-man knockup from NXI. It could turn the play right on the head of Maryville. They got the Smite Steal away. Taco have gotten everything, and a double kill on top of it. Rosethorn capitalizing massively off of NXI.
I mean, once the side of Taco shows up, you cannot take that dragon as Maryville. They don't even get it. They lose out on the fight. Great steal from Rosethorn as the heist is complete. Team Fish Taco, they get everything here in the river. First off, it's the cancel. Oh, we combined it actually with a second W. Really well done by Rosethorn. So they get Psycho immediately. Honestly, it's a good play to get Onat here by the side of MU, but this fight's toast before it starts. Great gravity field from Onat. Actually got Get Back stuck in there. One more auto and Get Back would have went down too if Sejuani was able to find it. Not the case. Still able to find Auto Orange on the back half. And it's a huge lead for Taco early. Also has a lead top. So now the next neutral objective at Magical. Rift Herald already looking like it's in Team Fish Taco's favor.
And going back to the point we're talking about, it's the early game where it's the make or break, and Team Fish Taco, he come out huge with that play. Sure, Onat does die in the extended trade, but gaining the first dragon, gaining 3 kills off the play as well. They've gotten so much for themselves. That's why they're at nearly a 2,000 gold lead at just 7.5 minutes into the game.
You can see Rosethorn trying to just show up bot lane to make sure that his bot lane can actually shove this out to get a reset, because I think the game plan is to play for Herald. Spawn does need the reset. He does have some gold, only sitting on a D-Blade and a Longsword, so should be able to spend. So Rosethorn just showing up with both of his lanes, making sure that push is there, so he can start this Rift Herald up on time.
Yeah, I think Josh called it the lightning carrot. Spawn probably has enough to pick up that. Come back into lane, shove out these waves over and over again. I'm expecting that, but that's why I think Scary Jerry and Psycho are also playing a little far forward, making sure that it's more difficult for Spawn to actually go back, pick up that item spike, and clear out the wave consistently against them.
And this is really good right now for Ezreal, not facing the items from Varus, because Ezreal can just farm from range and they'll scale up rather nicely. So the fact that there's really no kill threat is exactly where Ezreal wants to be in this lane. So honestly, well done from the side of Maryville's bot lane, but still you can see the leads that Taco were able to secure earlier bleeding into the top side as Herald taken for free by the side of Team Fish Taco.
No way to fight that if you're Maryville either. Nope. Mid lane, Onat has been doing a good job of kind of containing Get Back so he can't actually team up with Auto Orange, something that we have seen a lot from them, and really attack this top lane. And because Niles is struggling in this 1v1 matchup up against Lunacia, just look at those trades. I do respect that Niles does almost every single time at least trade some damage back onto Lunacia, but you're still facing off against a Jax who's already got a kill over you.
Auto Orange gonna make a visit up here as a couple of his topside camps to clear out as bases finally come in for our bot laners. It will be the Trinity Force build for Scary Jerry. Pretty standard on the new patch for the Ezreal, whereas we're gonna see a lot of components of Shiv completed here by Spawn. Yeah, that's pretty good, as he nearly has that item completed.
It still surprises me that Ezreal's not abusing this meta. Like, every other champion is, and normally when something game-breaking like that happens with itemization, it's always Ezreal, yet this time it's not.
Well, guess what? Trinity Force is really OP too, Mad Magical, so it's fine.
It is good. I mean, you're not wrong. It's funny to kind of think that Ezreal, someone who normally breaks the game, is not actually going to break the game. Niles does have the flash. Rose Thorn deciding not to throw out Bola. Doesn't actually even want to attempt to get that flash off Niles.
See, Evolution already in for Onat as he's almost towards that Q evolve too. That's always a scary part about Victor, and why I like Victor when there's winning side lanes, because you can always collapse. So I thought it was a good draft for Victor. Varus, Alistar do have shove, and also because of the focus top side that Jax, Sejuani, as we kind of set up, if you do pressure the Kennen, there is kill potential as Kennen's a bit squishy. So now, two side laners kind of winning for the side of Taco, enables Victor to step up and be A-OK, and Victor, we've seen how hard Victor can scale throughout games, man. Magical. It's not a pick that's necessarily meta right now, but still one that you can play, and I think the setup this game was actually really nice from Taco to play it for Onat.
And it's netted them quite a lot of control here early into the game, but it's all about how you play around the next dragon for me. Even with this lead for Taco, I feel like there's ways that Maryville can get back into the game, mostly looking at Scary Jerry and Psycho, and when they're finally involved in one of these, not small skirmishes, but an actual straight-up fight.
I mean, Maryville, this first item hit has to be big for them. It's Sunder, Wukong, Everfrost, Ahri. We've seen this in the meta for like the last 2 years at this point, what these two champs can do when they are given those first couple of items. I'm actually curious to see what Rose Thorn looks like he's going for, because I think it's going to be the Even Shroud Sunfire build that we've really been seeing rise in popularity. And I really like on Sejuani, as whenever you find CC, it amps damage, and Sunfire does a hell of a lot of damage right now.
That it does. It's really good at getting a lot of damage all spread across the team, especially looking at how a lot of these fights are going to work for Team Fishako. You're expecting that Rose Thorn is going to be in the middle of everything, that nobody's really going to be able to kill him too quickly. And so having that extra damage for someone like Spawn, that's one of the big things with having the static shift build too on Varus. He has a lot of burst potential. But look at how many members are sent up here into the top lane to try to deal with Lunacia. You're trying to dive at Jax though. That is always a big problem. You see right there the counter strike underneath the dirt, but it's going to be the follow-up with the Spirit Rush, getting a lot of damage onto him. But he's still alive, but he takes that shuriken. That surely should be the... Oh, no! Doesn't get that, but they do get one more snipe there from Niles.
Well done from MU. Again, they have to find something on the map. They're really far behind at this point, so it's expensive. Onat's rich as hell in the mid lane, so that's not going to be easy to deal with. But
not at all. The bot lane, not looking so good for Maryville either, so mid lane, bot lane, both answering back for the play that Maryville got in the top lane.
Oh man, does Onat walk away with this?
Does he? Let's see. He's got it really close. Not quite. It's so close. One more wave.
Okay. So I gotta say, I still think Taco. It's a good play from Maryville. They got some gold where they need to be. Set Jax behind a little bit. That's A-okay. But if you look at Maryville, it's still the one item spike's been so far delayed for Wukong and Ahri. And Taco's just chilling right now. Lunacia will still be an issue on the side lane later. That was just delayed a little bit. So Taco has strong solo lanes and a Varus. They're going to move mid pretty soon here. And Get Back just can't get these waves killed in time. It feels like Onat's just a matter of time until he gets this.
Good job with dodging a lot of these skill shots from Get Back too. Just sidestepping every single one of those charms.
You can, like, as Victor, once you get that Q evolve, you can feel a lot safer to step up. That has been earlier in the game, so Get Back doesn't have an alt right now.
The
He's dead.
flash there from Rose Thorn over the charm as well. That was nice.
I don't even know if that was necessary.
I think it was just the flashy play, right? You look cool. It looks cool. It looks cool.
Onat should try and auto that 2 more times to get the plate in the next 10 seconds. He should actually stack himself. He should. Can we look mid, see if he gets this in time? He's got 5 seconds to get bonus gold.
He's trying so hard. I'm keeping an eye. Nope, he doesn't get it. Doesn't get it. I was watching. He gets it right afterwards, so no bonus gold. But top lane, there's going to be the sun on the NXI. They're looking for Niles, but Niles, what a sidestep there. Denying that engage from Rose Thorn as NXI took a lot of the damage, and then with the Agni Storm coming in from Psycho and Cyclone as well. The wombo combo from these 3 members ripping apart Team Fishako.
Too aggressive looking for the dive once everyone shows up. I think after people jump onto NXI, you just have to leave the cow and ditch. Not going to be the case, though, as Rose Thorn will actually go for that Radiant Virtue. Not going to be the Shroud that I'm still looking for out of some of our junglers. Being ahead, this item is really OP, so might as well pick it up with that extra gold. You still are able to get that at the same time as Thunder. You feel good A good turn from Zyko and the rest of Maryville as we highlighted each of our supports. NXI got caught there a little bit on the Alistar. Zyko able to wait for the right time to find 2. Maryville gets some much needed gold and the second Rift Herald to boot.
I don't even know if it's so much that he got caught. I think that's what he wanted to do, was get a lot of the attention of Maryville onto him. But it was Niles sidestepping the ult there.
Yeah.
Glacial Prison not connecting onto him completely ruins everything that Taco had set up.
I agree, but also if you see 3 people there from Maryville, you cannot dive a cannon. So
True.
I think that plays off once you see people, and NXI got caught, ends up being taken down. So Maryville get that gold lead down to only 2k gold of the deficit, but the scaling I still really favor Taco, so I think Maryville has to continue to push the pace early.
And the problem has been they haven't been pushing that issue. They've been the ones getting pushed around by Team Fish Taco on every lane outside of top lane. That's really been the one saving grace for Maryville, is that Niles, now with that Rocket Belt completed, the Divine Tsundere for Odd Orange as well, they have power there, but they're still waiting to get this Ezreal and Ahri online.
Really like Maryville stacking up the Merc Treads here. That's a hell of a lot of value that you have against the team comp that's showing for Taco. Gonna force an early Void Staff out of the Victor, which I don't think is ideal if we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of itemization, but I think is a nice adaptation coming out from each of our teams here as we look at the inventories. Ezreal 2-headed Spike, I think, is really where you can look to fight as Maryville, as the Leandries is almost done for Get Back, and you do have that Sunder on the Wukong, so I really want to see Maryville push here again. I feel like their champions are actually very strong at the moment. I want to see if they can look to find some picks and plays as this Dragon does. Spawn in a few seconds, and I think Maryville should fight.
Maryville should fight. Like you said, they have the Leandries. It's going to be a lot stronger for Get Back, but they're not in the position just yet. They're going to show up a little bit late, and Taco will start up the Dragon.
Odd Orange was spotted on the top. Oh, hold on.
Oh, Spawn. Heal, flash, missing the Chain of Corruptions. Oh no is right, because he dies underneath this turret.
Well, the Dragon will go over to the side of Taco, but the mid turret will fall, and Maryville is going to look for a second crash.
They should be able to get 2 crashes. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually take that inner turret as well, because it took them a long time to actually get that Dragon. So even if you get the stack up on Dragons,
really good for Maryville.
That's going to be a 3-turret play there for Maryville.
It's also a Chemtech Soul, so you really don't care about that.
Right.
If anything, Elder spawns sooner, which is not bad if you're able to get back in the game with the gold. So 2 crashes and also this wave shoved all the way into the top inner. Well done for Maryville. Some good recovery there, and Odd Orange, I mean, he was forced out of his jungle early, fell behind, but I think he's done a nice job of recovering, and Odd Orange continues to look good in this league, man. Magical.
Yeah, Odd Orange is definitely one of those players that I'm always impressed by, and I know he doesn't really care about going professional anymore, but he's still in this league and still looking so competitive, which is always why it's such a shame that he doesn't want to try to go to the LCS just with how good I think he is as a player.
Hey, who knows, man? If the opportunity comes to him, you never know. And if he keeps on playing like this, a lot of good junglers in the league, he's fighting with them, is now Niles. He's gonna go down.
He's gonna go down. They got the pick there, the flash away from Lunacia. He should still die regardless. The flash hit from Odd Orange, make sure they get that as well. But Lunacia getting the solo kill on Niles is actually gonna be a big play for Taco.
That flash was really necessary from Odd Orange, as there are 2 trinkets in Lunacia's inventory. He was waiting for his Q to come off cooldown to try and get out. So I like how Odd Orange is able to flash to get that, get back.
He has ult, but that's a lot of damage. The burn, it's not enough because he's gone for Ludens, not Leandries.
Oh, I thought for a sector maybe was able to find it. Not gonna be the case though, still. Get back. Only burned his ultimate for that, so not all bad. Zyko,
gotta love the empowered blast cone, right?
Maybe NXI is trying to, like, you know, figure out how Alley works there. It's like, hey, can I do this?
Yeah, can I get the headbutt pulverized? But now, that's 2 ults burned on Taco. Get back. He's showing up here, but they're just focused onto him. They got a lot of damage, but what a crash down. Onat, the first casualty, to follow him, trying to get the damage, but it's 2 tanks hitting. It takes a long time to take down Ahri, so the rest of Maryville have now collapsed. They've got Niles with no ult on Niles. Double knocker from that next side to re-engage with the Chain of Corruption, getting a lot of damage and a lot of value. They've even got an exhaust on Odd Orange, kiting it back, but that's another crash down. It's trying to delay. They've got the pink on a Rosethorn, but look at Spawn. Look at how much damage he's on the other side, waiting for that piercing arrow, but the shutdown for Lunacia as they just wail away at Maryville. Flashes for days. Scary Jerry re-engaging, finding his own snipe.
What a skirmish as NXI and Lunacia synced up for quite a bit, but Maryville able to poke and prod on the back half to actually trade pretty evenly as Maryville. I was really surprised to get back actually TP'd in there because he didn't have access to that ultimate, but still able to make a few things work. So we're going to take a second look. I mean, this was a little bit wild. I love the focus on the ONAT. I think that's the big difference here. The fact they got ONAT first was key.
Yeah.
So I almost would have liked to see NXI try and save that combo to keep Psycho or Odd Orange out and not going to Get Back. I know they took down Get Back immediately, but with no ult, Get Back's not that scary. So the fact that ONAT fell, that's what enables Maryville to try and push to this 4v4. NXI, nice turn, finds a double knockup. It's front to back. Niles kind of, or Spawn kind of keeps on hanging back. I think he can maybe step up a little bit more here as...
I think so too.
Was able to at least get poke on the back half, but still zoned away from Niles, Scary Jerry. And Scary Jerry, props to him, did some really good work on the Ezreal. Really the first champ that I knew Scary Jerry for back when he was on Converse, when he was in C-Ball. I think Scary Jerry played that fight very well in the Ezreal, and why Maryville was able to come up with a little bit more gold in their pockets.
A little bit of gold, but the problem still being that they were shoved back away from the fight. They couldn't get anything outside of just a couple of pop kills on the way out. So when Team Fish Taco come back on the map, they just reset, they go top lane, they topple another turret. That's more gold for ONAT, and you kind of called it out. The fact that ONAT did die in that last fight was actually really big. The focus that they put on to the victor really saved that play in general for Maryville. But for Team Fish Taco, as long as they can protect ONAT in future fights, that victor is going to get so much value that you're just not going to be able to do anything against him.
And this fight could be scary for the side of Maryville, as ONAT has that 1k gold lead on the field, and it's going to be here in time and set up for the soul point for Taco. I should say the soul itself for Taco, as Team
But it
Fish
is also,
Taco.
it's still that Chemtech soul, and a soul's a soul, but there's certain souls I'm starting to realize just like Chemtech soul. It's all right.
Oh my God, Mad Magical, really?
I know.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
Chemtech soul's actually the first one that made me go meh.
Asia Games has changed you, as Lunacia can at least be forced to hop out of there. So Maryville preventing Lunacia from getting on the flank. Also, want to see if Lunacia even joins. He actually opted for the Hullbreaker second on the Jack. So better if he is isolated, and as he is in the bot lane at the moment. Can use that to shove this out.
It's still valuable to be a part of a 4v5 fight. You don't really want to take that if you're Taco.
Let's see if NXI can keep out Wukong or Ken, who he selects. As Scary Jerry burned the ult. Some good poke coming over from the Victor there, as ONAT can continue to take more space. But look at the angle from Get Back and Odd Orange. It's a hell of a collapse. Lunacia doesn't know that Odd Orange is here yet. Get Back will be spotted shortly once he uses that first dash to get over the wall.
I don't know
this
if
is
Lunacia
dangerous.
does realize or not, because he's been hanging out.
Though.
He's been hanging out right behind this tri-bush, away
Poke's
from the board for a long time. That's a lot of poke on Scary Jerry. Lunacia now got to pull the trigger. Now they're going to spot him out. It could turn for him. Odd Orange, like you said, still
Scary
on
Jerry's
this flank,
low.
and look at him and Get Back.
Cue the dragon.
Lunacia scaring away Odd Orange, so he doesn't want to go in. The blast cone now is going to be spotted, and there's Get Back with the dodge away from the charm, and a lot more damage coming in from Spawn on top of him with a split up fight at the moment. Tom on the dragon, Tom looking for the pull, but they got the Magnet Storm, and a lot of damage. Psycho is the first casualty, but the train is now back, and look at Lunacia. Niles, what did that slicing maelstrom do? It did nothing, as Taco will take themselves the soul.
I mean, Scary Jerry's playing the Ezreal here, and he just ate 2-3 lasers where he got so low, he wasn't queuing anyone to keep up the passive stacks. Almost
So
takes it
close.
away, but still a free soul going over to Taco, and that's a big enough one fight where I think they can look for the Baron.
Yeah, they got a lot off of that one, and they are immediately pulling for that Baron. They're all on their way. Scary Jerry's still too low to actually reasonably look for any pop shots on it as well.
There's a top wave that's shoved for Maryville if Niles wants to TP there, but there is no smite available, and everyone's going to get here late, so Taco going to walk away with Soul and Baron in the game firmly in their hands.
The Turo Baron buff going over to Team Fish Taco. They've got the early game, and now they've got a sizable lead up against Maryville after that dragon fight.
Props to ONAT. I mean, Scary Jerry's so low. I want Scary Jerry to kind of just start queuing the dragon. I know it helps Taco, but get your passive stacks up. You get your cooldowns and everything else down. Instead, Scary Jerry does no damage in this fight. First off, he eases away from that glacial prison that Zyko was going to catch. He lands a WQ, goes on that NXI, who gets the ground pound off, but then he just has to run for the hills. He's way too low to do anything in this fight, to step up and auto. Nothing done by the marksman. easy fight for Taco as they're the ones that are ahead, and Team Fish Taco continue to push their lead. I think a lot of props should go over to Onat. This Victor being picked, I think was really big this game. He ended up winning lane, showed some lane dominance, and that poke on the Scary Jerry is what set up Taco to easily win that fight.
Yeah, I feel like it was both Scary Jerry and Get Back were not doing any damage in that fight. All the damage really came in from Odd Orange and Niles. Those were the two players doing a lot of work, but unfortunately, you need that Ezreal. You need the Ahri to actually do a lot of damage. Otherwise, you're just not going to clean up through some of the resistances like Rosethorn or from NXI. NXI, right there, kind of proving the point. Absorbs a lot of the damage coming in from Niles and Odd Orange, but takes a lot of damage from Scary Jerry.
It's a little bit too much damage there for NXI.
Well, that's what, no, I'm saying he took none from Niles, but it was Scary Jerry getting the poke on him. That actually got him low.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an oops as Pity Party Gold picked up from Maryville on the bot side. Good job from Get Back. I think these things are going to drop either way, so Get Back might as well get some extra gold from Maryville's pockets, and NXI trying to use that passive to heal on up. Could be the first inhibitor falling, no contest. We'll see if Maryville decides to contest the second.
Might have to, because that could be a little bit too much of a swing for Taco. They're able to topple yet another structure. The poke from Spawn is really looking to keep him at bay. The charm does connect, and that could be nice, but what Rosethorn just did to keep them all at bay, Niles couldn't even get into the fight, but there's still a lot of damage. They're locked underneath the turret, and look at how low Zyko is gonna die. Turret will fall. Lunasi is too low to keep the fight going as well with the charm coming up on the Onat. He had to go golden just to survive. The flash in, it's Spawn now, getting the flashes away from Maryville, making sure that Taco will take that inhibitor in the top lane.
Honestly, a really good re-engage from Zyko. That was a decent look for Maryville, but I think it's too little too late.
There come the TPs. You got Onat and you got Lunasia back. One exit turret falls. The second one seen. Scary Jerry having to dash away yet again because Onat's damage is really high, man.
Odd Orange is just going to keep on poking away. He got the gravity filled out. Okay, never mind. He's dead.
He's just dead. He was trying to cut the wave. And look at Lunasia just diving the next turret. Should fall. Yes, there it is. But the game is still over. It is Maryville toppling the Team Fish Taco right there. Even with a little bit of fight back, there is no gas left in the tank.
Good work from Team Fish Taco, and I want to praise specifically Rosethorn and Onat. I feel like these are the two players that I see continuing to step up. We've seen mid-jungle 2v2 be really important for a lot of the top teams that we have. A lot of praise have gone over, deservedly so, to Mira and APA, as TLC are at the top of the table. But to see Rosethorn and Onat playing like this, like the winning lane from Onat, where he was able to individually get a lead, NXI and Rosethorn tried to die. They forced Get Back off early. Then Onat turns that into a solo kill. Rosethorn was able to turn that lead into a lot of neutral objectives that went over to Team Fish Taco. Got his top laner ahead, which I think was a big part of their win con for this game. I think TFT is starting to play a lot better League of Legends. Maryville has as well, but TFT get the better of them in that game one.
They do, and they take game one. So Team Fish Taco, right now, they've broken that tiebreaker, and they have that game lead over Maryville, but there's always the chance for Maryville to get the tie back in the standings. We're going to toss it to a break, and when we come back, we'll be back for a Rally Cry halftime show with Mazel.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.